This episode has been brought to you by Mobile.
Mobile One.
Mobile One. Because it keeps your engine running like new. Hello everyone, welcome back to Foster the Meeple, a channel all about
board games.
And
board gamey things.
Exactly, we're filming in our dining room because we didn't feel like driving to the studio. Deal with it. We got this microphone, hopefully it sounds okay, and you're on a stack of Nancy Drew books.
That is all true.
What a mystery. I solved the mystery. Classic Nancy Drew. We are here to do a top 10 video, and we threw it out to our Patreon community, showed it to our Patreon community, what kind of top 10 they want us to do. And I'm actually going to look and see who suggested this, because it was a brilliant idea. So this is a big shout out to Liam, who's one of our Patreon members. They suggested that we do top 10 memorable plays and why, which I thought was brilliant. So thank you, Liam, for the amazing suggestion, because we are very much like, we love games because of the plays we have with them. Do you know what I mean? Like, we'll have this amazing play and we'll be like, this game is amazing and it's so memorable. And then you might play it again later and you might be like, So it's really that play that was like the specialness of it all.
Correct. Some
might say, oh, I have red hair now.
5 minutes into the video.
Do you think they notice? So Jeff and I have listed out some of our most memorable plays. And obviously we would have a lot of overlap because we play most games together, okay? So I'm pretty sure that there's more than 10 on this list. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay, we'll have to cut some of these down.
Why didn't you do this now?
What?
Why didn't you do it now?
Hold on, stop touching it at the same time I'm touching. We'll have some honorable mentions, I guess is what I'm trying to say. It's basically a short 20.
She counted a
blank space. So we have 5 honorable mentions.
There you go.
So let's just call it a 15 because I'm not putting these in order.
No.
Okay. These are 15 most memorable plays. Integrated with, and this is a shout out to the person who was like, top 7, but you won honorable mention. Isn't that a top 8? None of this matters. I'll do the first one.
Sure.
So the first one is actually almost like a plethora of experiences. It's a series of experiences, but they're all the same game with the same people. And that is any time that we play Monikers with the Table Knots crew.
Yeah.
The one that stands out to me the most significantly is when Max and Danielle came to visit us for the first time. And we played Monikers so many times on that trip. Monikers and just one over and over and over again. But we had a specific play of Monikers where 2 cards came up.
Morgan Freeman as president.
Morgan Freeman and Morgan Freeman as president.
Yep.
And so it was basically, this was Morgan Freeman as president and just standing was Morgan Freeman. Because like, how do you first of all act out Morgan Freeman? And then anyways. And that was also the same play, or game where I thought James Earl Jones' name was Earl Grey Jones. Do you remember?
Yes.
Oh my god. Anyways, it was like, I don't think that we have as much fun playing Monikers with anybody else.
No.
Because Danielle and Max in particular, like, love that game, and they get so into it, and then we'll get so into it.
I have a subset story that you were not at. It was the last time I was in Kentucky visiting, before Max poisoned me.
Max did poison. There's a memory right there.
I was playing Monikers, and before we played, like, Max and Doolin insisted to be on the same team. And so I had to play, I think it was like me, Jash, and maybe Aaron.
Right.
Or something like that. Because Doolin very distinctly said that no one was good enough to be on his team. He was like, Max and I had to be on the same team because, like, no one else. It was, I can't remember the exact words, but basically, it was basically Doolin and Max were, like, talking about how they're, like, elite moniker players. And I'm like, that's not a thing.
They're not.
Anyway, they forced all of the rest of us to play on a different team because they were moniker snobs. Next one on the list is pretty early, I think, for us. I don't remember when we went. Was it the first year doing the channel? Or maybe the second year?
I don't remember.
Anyway, it doesn't matter. It was our first and only time we went to Dice Tower West. And it was the first time we met a lot of fellow content creators.
Yeah.
It was the first time we met Sam. Lord of the Board, who is now a very close friend of ours. And we got a chance to sit down and play many games with Sam. But one in particular was Brian Boru. Yeah. And it was our first experience playing Brian Boru. And we played it with Sam, Kate, and Mick from Our Family Plays Games. And it was the most rambunctious game you could possibly play of Brian Boru.
It's not generally a rambunctious
Which
game.
is not a rambunctious game, but it was rambunctious at that time. And then it was like maybe midnight when we finished playing. And I think Sam was like, should we play again? Or no, we were like ready to wrap up and Mick was like, again! Yeah. And so we ended up playing it back to back, super late at night. And it was just super fun and rambunctious. And it was like a really welcoming way to be ingested into the... It was a really great way to be injected into the content creator sphere. You know, and getting to know some people who had been there a bit longer than we had, and that sort of thing. It was great. And
every other play of Brian Boru we've had since has not been as fun.
Correct. That is correct.
Unfortunately, because we really like the game. The next one on the list is a throwback to one of our board game weekends with Jason. It was the first time we played Dune Imperium, and the game took hours and hours, and we by the end of the game, it wasn't the first
time we played Dune.
It was the first time.
No,
because then we realized we played it the next time with Jason, and we played it right.
I think I had played it before that.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't remember that. Anyways, the point is, we were like, oh, we all said, yeah, I really like this game, but it's a little long. It went on a bit too long, and then we realized that we played it completely wrong and added like 5 or 6 extra rounds to it. We didn't we didn't know the end game condition trigger, or we just breezed past it. Yeah. And it was hilarious because after that, we're always like, do you want to play Dune Imperium for 5 hours with me?
It was like 3 or 4 hours, I think we were playing that game. Yeah. And we were like, what is going on?
Yeah, I remember, and if I remember, I'll link the video down below because it's in a board game weekend video. Like, I didn't think this game was supposed to be this long. I think I'd like it if it were shorter. And then we realized, and we were like, oh my god.
Yeah, that was...
All right, let's back this up and get another one going.
It was too long of a game for what it was.
It was too long. I'll definitely agree with you there.
I didn't think it was that long. I thought an hour was probably some user issues there too, but...
That was on us.
Yeah.
Next one is another Table Knots story. We went to visit them a couple years ago, maybe 3 years ago now. And we went to a place called Red River Gorge.
The middle of nowhere, Kentucky.
Middle of nowhere, Kentucky. Very beautiful area.
Yeah.
And we all had decided before we went there to play a little game called Don't Get Got. Don't Get Got is kind of this like experience. It's not really a board game. It just is an experience. And basically what happens in Don't Get Got is everyone's given a bunch of prompts that they have to do and achieve. And if you achieve that thing, and normally it's like this interplay between the group. And if you get someone, you'd be like, hey, you got got.
Sucker.
And it's the first person to get their list done
first.
Jamie did win. I think we ended up not playing the full game.
But I won.
But anyway, why this story is important is it was kind of like our first like time kind of going away, I think, and like on a mini vacation together. You don't seem like you agree.
I agree. I said,
Jamie doesn't seem to agree. But anyway, we were at this cabin, and one of my prompts was to get someone to take a selfie with me.
This one is memorable.
But they had to take it with their phone.
Yeah.
Which is the harder part.
Yes.
It's easy to get a selfie. It was hard to get someone to use their device. So we pull up to this cabin, and there's this beautiful outlook over the gorge. And I was like, Doolin, let's go get a photo together, man. like, let's just go get a photo of me and you.
And Jeff's like, oh, I don't have my phone.
And then we're walking over, and I was like, oh, I don't have my phone. He's like, oh, I got it, man. Don't. He was so excited. So excited that I want to take a photo with him. And B, that we were like together and whatever. So he's so excited. So we get over to this thing. He like pulls his phone out and he snaps this photo. And before even like I think the photo got taken, I was like, you got, and I ran away and laughed.
Yeah.
And he was
crushed him.
We still talk about it.
Yeah. I have the picture. I'll put it in.
It was one of my finest life moments.
Mm-hmm.
I achieved nirvana.
Yeah.
On that day.
Yes, made Doolin very sad. The next one is when we played Cursed Court at a Gaggle. It was the first GaggleCon. The whole GaggleCon is a memory.
Mm-hmm.
We played Cursed Court, and this was a game we had never heard of, ever. We played with Rodney, Christy, and Luke.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a bloodbath.
It was a bloodbath.
It was the most ruthless
Christy,
game.
I feel like, was the worst.
And Luke and everybody was kind of, but like, it was just such a memorable play because you need to be with the right people to play that kind of game and make it that good.
There's a lot of lying.
Yeah, and if you're not mean, then it's not going to be as good. And if you're not going after each other, we just had like the best time ever playing it. And I think it's so memorable because we left and we had to find that game. We're like, we have to buy this game. This is the greatest game ever. We had the best time. Like, what kind of bird is that?
A nuthatch?
You think everything's a nuthatch. I think it was a catbird, maybe.
You think everything's a catbird.
Anyways, it was just very, very memorable because it was our first GaggleCon. It was our first time getting to know them. It was actually, I think, the last game that we played. One of the last games we played, and yeah. Yeah,
normally Luke isn't there.
He hasn't been since the first time.
So that was nice too, to spend a little bit of time with him, getting to know him. But yeah, Cursed Court is deadly.
Dynamite.
It's so good, but it's so mean. Next up on the list is Wine the Film. And we played this with Rodney as well as Dwayne from Blackboard Gaming.
Go check him out.
This was PAX.
This was PAX.
PAX Unplugged in Philadelphia. And I think what made this really awesome was we kept kind of crossing paths with Dwayne and Rodney, but none of us were like...
We couldn't
get aligned to make something happen.
Yeah.
And so I think if I remember it correctly, Rodney was en route to play with Dwayne.
Yeah, we ran into them.
Ran into him.
It was either we were with... No, we were with Dwayne. And then we saw Rodney, and he's like, where are you guys going? We're like, we're going to go play with this game. And he's like, I'm coming. And we're like, perfect.
Yeah, and it was our first experience playing Wine the Film.
Yeah, and it's one of Dwayne's favorite games.
And it's one of Dwayne's favorite games.
Or at least it was at the time.
And he taught us beautifully because that game is a very difficult game to grasp, I think, at first.
For a small game.
And it was just a really, like, down-to-earth kind of...
It was just nice.
Nice... calm experience during a convention, and we had been in the creator space for a little bit longer.
We needed that play at that point.
We needed that. We needed that break, and we needed that bubble, and it was phenomenal. And it's become a game we absolutely love. It's recently been remade as like Photograph or whatever that. Yeah, Photograph, I think is what it's called, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, it was just like there's really nothing like. Most of these experiences are like something really funny happened or like something like kind of like rambunctious happened. But this was just a really nice, calm experience with two people that we love tremendously within the chaos that is a con.
Yes.
And it was very it was very impromptu. It was, a lot of the times at cons we have to schedule things and yada, 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 but just was like...
Every now and then you get a magic moment where you just run into the people...
At the right
time. And you've got the game ready and somebody already knows how to play it and there's that bird again.
You can just sit down, nuthatch.
Nuthatch.
Google it, please. Google nuthatch right now.
You shouldn't be.
It is.
It's not. That is not what that bird looks like.
That is exactly what it is.
That's not what that bird looked like. Oh, maybe. Well, this one's got a yellow belly. Actually, if you want to be more specific, it's a white-breasted nuthatch. So Jeff wasn't like 100% right.
Bird guy.
The next game on the list is Flip Ships at Level Up. And this was our first Level Up. And this is where we got to like really meet and spend a lot of time with some members of our community, including in that list who we played Flip Ships with were Ben and Sarah. Shout out to them. Love us so much that they're moving here.
Yep.
Daniel with the Cool 45.
Yep.
Marcus. And were there other people? It was definitely that. I think Marcus almost came in even a little bit late.
Marcus came in late, yeah.
What, was Antonio there?
Possibly.
Can't remember the full group, but there were so many people there. And then Daniel brought Flip Ships.
Yeah.
And introduced
I think
it to
like
us.
Alex Radcliffe came by at some point.
Yeah, he stopped by at some point.
Because it was pretty, again, it was pretty rambunctious.
But this is our first time ever playing this game, and it is like a dexterity, like flicking game where you're basically trying to flip ships.
Yeah, you're basically playing
into like
Galaga.
Yeah, and you're trying to like hit different aliens and whatever. Yeah. But we just had so much fun.
It's like Under Falling Sky if you were flicking things at the aliens.
Because it's really hard to be good at this game, and so it makes it even better.
Jamie, I was draining in the mothership. Well,
for most people, it's really
Red-winged
hard.
Blackbird.
Squirrel. It's really hard for most people to like be good at this game and to aim and to do whatever, which makes it even funnier because you're on teams.
Yeah.
And people are like counting on you.
It's a cooperative game, yeah.
Yeah, it's a cooperative game. And it's just like, there's something about that play and having like been there with our community, and it was like not the first night. It was like after we had gotten to know each other a little bit and played some games, and it was a really good play.
I have a little extra on that. That was the...
I have a little bit of spice.
What's the spice?
It's just a quote.
From what?
TikTok.
Level Up was like right around when I first started my meds.
Yeah.
It was when I first, like, when I just had my last, like, major anxiety attack. I was still kind of out of sorts. I was spending a lot of time alone in the room. And, like, we had been talking to Sarah and Ben and them and trying to align gameplays and stuff, but I was struggling to make any of this happen because I was so hit or miss. And we finally got together at the end, and we played Flip Ships, and it was just a really nice end to that, what was ultimately a very stressful con for me.
Yeah.
I'll never forget that play.
Yeah, actually there was like...
draining in that mothership.
There was like, well, even 4 games at that specific level up. It was like, obviously, where a Cool 45 came from when we played Thunder Road Vendetta with Daniel. That was the last game we played. Vast, Phantom Inc.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there was just so many. And Level Up's been really great for connecting with our community.
Yeah, I really do like Level Up. Yeah, this is a me experience that Jamie was not part of. And this was War of the Ring with Nick Murphy from the Brothers Murph. So Nick came to visit us and spent like a week?
10 days.
10 days hanging out here and just playing games. We showed him around the area, had some good food, had some good laughs, played a lot of games. And Nick taught, well, I should mention, he brought his own copy of War of the Rings, which is all painted by him. It's beautiful. We played it down when our studio was downstairs. And so we had our Rathskellars table. Yeah. We had all the like... We had music playing. We were watching Lord of the Rings as we played it. And it was just like... Quite honestly, it was the perfect... There's no way I'll ever top that experience.
Yeah.
It was my first time playing it. I wanted to play it for so long. I love Lord of the Rings. Nick loves Lord of the Rings. He knew how to play it. And we just sat down and played it. And we actually ended up playing it over like 2 days. Because we kind of like... We played it for a while and then we left it. And then, you know, it was just... Fine. Nick, you need to come back and visit.
Come visit. And then don't leave.
But yeah, I loved Nick. It was just fun. Yeah. It was just like a great experience. And again, I don't think I'll ever play that game and it rival that. Because you can't replicate all of those variables again. I interrupt these memories for an ad for the sponsor of today's video, which is the Setting Off Tabletop RPG. I'm going to have all the links. Everything you need to know is going to be in the description below. But let's learn a little bit about it, shall we? Setting Off is a setting-agnostic pen and paper RPG. It features skill-based character creation, a D20 roll-under system, and comprehensive rules for any playstyle. You can play anywhere between 4 to 6 players. There's 1-page character sheet that you get to use and 300 pages of core rules. The rules are going to cover explanation, conversation, and combat equally.
It will include character creations, crafting items, creatures, and an adventure module. Characters have 8 attributes between 1 and 20, and every dice roll is rolled with a d20 and succeeds if it is below the character's attribute score. Players will combine skills from 50 skill trees instead of classes, and rules focus on accessibility and flexibility. The rules will explore fantasy, horror, and sci-fi. If you enjoy creating diverse characters, coming up with unique builds, playing in your own worlds, or changing settings frequently, Setting Off is the game for you. And like I mentioned, I'm going to have the links. Everything you need is going to be in the description below. It is currently live on BackerKit, so if it sounds like something that you would like to get and to play, please click the links and follow along the campaign. Play Setting Off, the tabletop RPG, make some memories of your own, but for now, let's get back to our memories. So the next one I put on the list, and it's almost like it's a conglomerate. It's probably not the right word, but it's the first time that we learned and played Cuba Libre with Rodney. Mm-hmm. Because it was actually, for both of us, our introduction into a whole new world of board games.
And that was early on.
That was pretty early on.
In our relationship with Rodney.
Mm-hmm. And so
we're figuring each other out.
Yeah. So he taught us how to play Cuba Libre over video, and then we play async, and then we had done that numerous times since, and it's gotten more ruthless, and we haven't played in a hot minute. We haven't played in a while, but I think that first play, because it was like, especially for me, a game that I never, ever, 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 ever would have played, ever. Not even if there was a fire. I never would have played it. Mm-hmm. But I wanted to play because Rodney wanted to teach and he wanted us to play. And I was like, okay, I'll play anything. I'll give it a shot. And I loved it. Yeah. I just had such a great time. And it was so memorable because there's so much like banter in the game and there's strategy, even though I'm not very good at the strategy. But yeah, I think that's just kind of one of those like, I can't believe that I like this game.
Yeah, I think it's just kind of, I've always wanted to play war games. I'm obviously now obsessed with them. It was just really nice of Rodney to offer to do that. Mm-hmm. And again, that was kind of like the introduction or the intro phase of like our friendship. Yeah. And obviously that's blossomed into them becoming part of our family. And exactly. We bonded over Cuba. Yeah. And I'm pretty sure Rodney won because he normally does.
Correct. I've never won, I don't think.
Next up is if you went to our second Gameathon, you would have saw us play.
And if you were up at 4 a.m.
Tinderblocks very, very early in the morning of the final day of our Gameathon. Yes. We played a little game called Tinderblocks. Tinderblocks is a dexterity game where ultimately you're taking these tweezers and taking these pieces out of this tin in order to build a fire, but it's going to be stacked. So these cards are like, you have to pick up the piece with your left hand or what have you. And we beat Tinderblocks.
And just for reference, we are not good at Tinderblocks. Without fail, it's usually either me or Jeff that's knocking it over if we're playing with it. And that's one that we were introduced at Level Up as well. Yeah. And this would have been our 1920, and we were gone, and we were just sitting there, and we were like, and it was just this huge moment, and everybody that was in the chat, we were like, oh my god, and people were like, I'm taking screenshots, I can't believe this is happening.
Video, unfortunately, has been lost.
Yes, which really sucks.
It does not exist, but if you were there
are photos.
It was witnessed. Yeah. It probably is one of my best memories. Yeah. Because it was nonsense. Mm-hmm. And
we'll never be able to like recreate it. We almost were like, oh, we'll have to play Tinderblocks at 4 a.m. at the last Gameathon. Jeff fell asleep, so he couldn't do it. And everybody was like, play it. But I'm almost glad we didn't. Yeah. Because it's like, you can't just recreate that moment.
No, you can't.
And it was wild. The next one on the list is when we played Sheepy Time.
I just want to note something quickly. Jamie wrote down Sleepy Time, which is a very
tomato. when we played Sheepy Time with Jason and Acacia during a board game weekend. And the reason why,
God,
first of all, it was a memorable time because it's the first and only time that like Acacia came to like...
Yeah, that was our old house.
Yeah, our old house, came to play games and whatever. And you know we love Sheepy Time. But Jason and Jeff would not relent, and they kept going around and around, and neither of them would bust. And every time Jason's like, I'll go again. And Jeff's like, well, I'll go again. Yeah. And I was sitting there and I was like, this is such boy energy right now because Acacia and I had already like backed out.
We did it.
You guys could both lose it. Ah!
No.
Did you? Oh my God. Wow.
I want to go to sleep.
You want to wake up.
No, I have to. If he's gonna keep going, I have to keep going.
This is like classic men.
Well, I wanted to stop forever ago, and he keeps going.
Anyways, it's on a board game weekend video. Once again, I'll link it below if I remember. But it was just, it was hilarious, and it was a reminder of like, this is why this game is so good, because it has these kind of moments, and it was just a very much like, I'm going to keep going, and I'm going to keep going.
Yeah, it was just nice to play with Jason and Acacia, too.
Yeah.
Next up on the list is another async experience.
Yeah.
So our good friends, Nerds of the West.
Yep.
You should definitely go check them out if you've not. They are from Australia.
Yeah.
So it is very hard for us, even now, to link up with that crew. Because normally when they're awake, we're in bed, and vice versa. So we got an opportunity. And I think it was very early for them in the morning or maybe very late at night. I can't remember. But we finally got a chance to hop on camera and play some BGA games.
Yes.
We played a few BGA games, but one that I remember was Colt Express because it was our first time ever.
We'd never played it, and they loved the game.
Yes, it was the first time we'd ever played Colt Express. And if you've never played Colt Express, it is a programmatic Western-themed shooter game where you're trying to rob a train. And it is amazing. It is objectively amazing. And those guys and girls are all very rambunctious humans in the best of ways. So I think you could play any game with them and have an absolute blast because they're just good people. And they're very high energy. So we were sitting here at our old place playing this BGA game with them, and everyone was just losing it laughing.
I can't remember. One person, I can't remember who, kept getting shot, but nobody knew that they were going to be shooting them. And they're like, why is everybody keep shooting me?
Yeah, because it's
really
programmatic,
funny.
but then there's like a randomness with how the cards get drawn. So like,
and you don't know what somebody's doing before.
Things can go off the rails. See what I did there? Very quickly. So people, you could be like, I have to shoot Jamie this turn. But with how the cards get drawn and things get moved around, then your shot comes up and maybe you're shooting someone you didn't want to. And that person can get shot like every time that round, if it just happens to work out that way. It
made us fall in love with the game. Another game that we like immediately were like, we have to go buy this right now.
If you guys are watching, we need to do that again.
Yeah.
We need to figure out how to make that happen again. Because that was really fun.
Yeah. Next up on the list is a special one because we found a game that Jeff's mom loves. And that is basically any time that we played Can't Stop with Jeff's mom. Specifically when she was in her elephant Udi. And she she just loved the game. And like it's so nice when you can find a game that you can connect with anyone.
Yeah. My mom doesn't play much of anything really.
No, she can play crib and those
but
kinds of things.
She doesn't really play games.
No.
To be completely honest. I think my mom just wants to spend time with us. So she's always kind of eager to just be around and spend time with us. So
we were living with them at the time because we were in between our last house and this house.
Yeah. Oh, I should say, yeah, we've recently played here.
This table, but
we were living with them at the time, and we just pulled out Can't Stop because, like,
we played almost every night.
So I wanted to do something simple that my mom could understand, and Can't Stop basically just rolling dice. Yeah. And she loved it. And it was,
and she would ask to play it.
Yeah, and then she would ask to be like, hey, can we play? She never remembered the name.
No.
She was like, "Hey, we play that game again?"
We tried to play Strike and she hated it.
Yes.
And I was like, I don't understand
Yeah,
how you don't like this, but you like the
hated
other
Strike.
one. Yeah.
Yeah.
She's like, this is dumb. Can we play the other one?
I'll carry that memory for
Yeah.
a while. All right, next up, second to last. I don't know if we're allowed to talk about this.
We have to, but we have to keep it PG-13.
Skip it if you're got kids watching, maybe. We played a game of Medium with our friends Ben and Sarah. So Medium is a card.
This was at PAX? Gen Con? I don't remember. It was at one of the conventions with them.
Yeah, I don't remember. So everyone's kind of sitting in a circle. You're going to have a hand of cards, and you're going to pick a card. And it might say something on it like, I don't know, book. Or...
television. Or...
Kleenex.
Table. Yeah. Handkerchief. Yeah.
Right?
Hair.
Maybe. And then what ultimately the person next to you is going to do is look at their hand of cards and place a card down that they think the two of you can link up together.
Yeah,
so
should be an easy
maybe
connection.
I played out Kleenex, and maybe to my left, someone played out hair.
Handkerchief and hair.
Handkerchief and hair.
Mm-hmm.
So then on 3, you'd be like 3, 2, 1, you'd say a word. I'm not going to say the word,
Use your imagination.
you adults out there,
it was a dirty word.
what would you think of a very dirty word for handkerchief and hair?
See, I would have thought bandana.
Sure. Not it.
That's not where
I'm
they
going to
went.
leave it there. Feel free to try and figure out.
Ben
or
and Sarah.
Or
The
tag
dirtiest.
Sarah in Discord and ask her directly.
Make her explain it to you.
It was very dirty and very, very funny. And she still gets made fun of about it to this day. In most of our my streams or on in the community.
I think Medium is a game that gives lots of fun, memorable moments. We played it with Rodney and Luke, and you and Luke had a really good one.
Yeah.
Where you were at the same time, we're like, boom! And you were like, boom!
Yeah.
Because it's actually really hard to think of the same word.
I think it really does show how... Because Jamie and I are not good at it. We're very,
so
very...
We do not think in the same way.
Yes. We think completely different. So it's really interesting to play that game and figure out how similar or dissimilar people think to you.
Similar or dissimilar.
So I should mention, and then, cause just to complete how Medium works, if you get it wrong, then you have to link the 2 words that you just said with something else.
You just keep going down a rabbit hole.
And then you get like 3 chances to get points, and then if you don't get, then it just skips to the next person. It's very, very, very good. I really like Medium.
Yeah,
but that was like the most hilarious experience of that game.
Yep. And last but not least, we have... This is basically any time we play this game.
Yeah. But this one in particular. I have a specific reason.
It's Fuji Flush. And this would have been at Gen Con, not this year, but the previous year. Mm-hmm. And we were playing with a table full of people, which included Michelle from Second Star to the Left, and Nick from the Brothers Murph, and a few others.
Max was there, I think. Doolin was there.
And it was rowdy AF. It was the exact way that you must play Fuji Flush, where everybody's smashing the table and you're yelling, "Toot-toot train!" And you're throwing out 2s to join the train, even though you're like, this is going to make me lose the game.
And you're like banging on the table.
It was so rowdy. It was so fun.
And we annoyed
everybody.
Why I remember it is because we were playing in a quieter room upstairs of the hotel of Gen Con.
Did that just tell you to go to bed?
Yes.
7:30.
It said get ready for bed.
Oh, okay. Got it.
At 7:30.
7:30.
It was in and I remember that was the year Arcs came out. And everyone was playing Arcs. And I remember looking around between rounds of screaming, and everyone was, I could tell, pissed off at us.
Right.
But I was like, I don't even care.
Yeah, it was so much fun. But honestly, like, we've never not had fun playing that game. Do you know what I mean?
I feel like there was one time we played it and everyone was kind of like just playing cards.
Oh, well, that was erased from my memory.
This is like...
I wouldn't care for that
This isn't
much.
even Fuji Flush at
But
this
even
point.
like when we played it with like Risa and Randy and Matt, or we played it with... Yeah, like just...
We've had... Yeah, Fuji Flush is great.
It's so great.
But someone needs to lead Someone needs to lead
the train.
Yeah, someone needs to lead the rowdiness.
Exactly.
Because
and usually that's us.
I know some people have mentioned us, be like, I don't understand why people like Fuji Flush so much. And I'm like, how'd you play it? And they're like, we just like played cards out. And I'm like, nah.
Nah, wrong.
Like even like I've brought that to our work retreat, my first year.
Mm-hmm.
And like they all loved it too. But you have to play it rowdy.
You got to.
Yeah.
You gotta. So those are 15 of our most memorable plays. And I'm sure if we sat here we could talk and talk and talk and talk and talk and talk.
It's one of those things like if we had like a list too to pull off of, because I'm sure there's stuff that like if someone mentioned it to us, be like, oh yeah. Mm-hmm. But
yeah, and
like the only time I've played Sam and Root in person, I beat him. Sam has never beaten me in person at Root.
That's
ever.
Embarrassing.
Yeah.
For Sam, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
So those are our memories. And if we've played games with you and you have a memory of playing a game with us, please put that in the comments.
Yeah.
We would love to hear that because that's something nice to hear about.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I get a cheat eye.
Disgusting. Guess what I made tonight, everybody? I made
very
rhubarb white chocolate chip cookies.
They're so good. I never would have thought rhubarb in a cookie would be
right?
good. Oh my god.
Crazy. Anyways.
A little tang.
Little tang. You taste that tang. Remember that from New Girl?
Yeah.
The tang.
Stop.
That is everything that we have for you today. Now, if you're interested in buying board games like any of the many we talked about today, you should first start by checking with your friendly local gaming store. And for us, that is
The Boardroom Game Cafe.
And if you like what you see,
please subscribe.
Hope to see you again soon. And now we say goodbye. Goodbye.
Later days. I keep forgetting to bring that down to the garage.
It's triple action. I hope you can hear us.
That was really funny.
Thanks, Jeff.
Sometimes you surprise
Sometimes
me.
I'm oh
Is
my
that
God.
a moldy chocolate chip?
What?
No.
No. You're crazy. All right, you ready?
That would not be out of the realm of normal here.
There's a lot
Let's
of
be
chocolate
clear.
chips everywhere. I don't know if I'm in the frame, but it's fine. We're filming in our
Do you know what
dining
I'm
room.
What?
What?
Given the placement of the camera,
No.
if we're just like, wah,
No.
like that the mic is just.
It is like. Hang on. Maybe I'll make a little tap.
Yeah.
It's like you can see all of you, but the mic is way bigger than you.
Yeah.
It's fine. Ooh.
That squirrel is being a menace.
Yeah, no.
He's stopping all the birds from getting to the bird
How do I
feeder.
look at this? Anyways,
You can barely notice.
even better. We got over 40.
Even
Okay.
better.
Because you probably forgot about this one and this one.
I gave you that one.
What? Which one? This one.
Flip
These
chips.
two. And that is anytime we play monikers.
Sorry. Go again.
We're in our late 30s, so all we care about is watching birds now.
I want to look it up.
They love that little skinny bird feeder.
Hmm.